Can you imagine living for 1,000 years? An entire millennium?
Brought it, the maudlin grim one. I give you a look. Can you really capture the angel of death? Oh, yes.
If we look back at the last 1,000 years, we can see the human life expectancy has increased dramatically. It's on a bull run, baby. In the 11th century, the average lifespan was around 30 years old. By the 19th century, it had risen to about 40 years old. And today, the 21st century, we're about 72 years old for the average life expectancy. We've come a long way in terms of increasing our lifespans. In the Bible, we've heard of many characters that have lived a very long time, starting with the youngest, Enoch, 365 years old, 777, 895, 905, 910, 912 years old, 930 years old, 950 years old, 962 years old, Methuselah, 969 years old. Is the death of death imminent? Could it be possible? Or is this just another take of a series or movie that we've seen somewhere on TV or screen?
Tonight, we will achieve what no one before us has even attempted. We will summon and imprison death.
Y'all ready to go down this esoteric rabbit hole? Come with me. I'm so glad to have you. If I missed anything or you have any information that you would like to add it in the comment section. Stitch this, create your own video. Let's inspire to be inspired, baby. How did this thought come about without the use of technology? It is something that's been discussed in society, in science, and in folklore for a long time, even in mythology, as we're going to be also discussing in this video. Let's find some dots in the elixir of life, the fountain of youth, and the tree of life. The first biblical stories were passed down orally and only written down later by various authors. Most biblical scholars believe the book of Genesis was the first book to be written down. This would have happened around 1450 BC to 1400 BC. Epic of Gilgamesh started out as a series of Sumerian poems and tales dating back to 2100 BC, but most complete version was written around the 12th century BC by the Babylonians. This poem tells a story of Gilgamesh, king of Uruk, and his quest for immortality. In the story, Gilgamesh sets out on a quest to find the cure for all disease and the elixir of life. Along the way, he encounters various of obstacles and fierce monsters, such as the Bull of Heaven and Humbamba. Gilgamesh was not alone on this quest, and I'm not talking about the tiger that he's holding like it's some cat. I'm talking about his equal that was created by the gods named Enkidu. Both Gilgamesh and Enkidu are Nephilim. Eventually, Gilgamesh and Enkidu arrive at the Garden of the Gods, where they're greeted by a man named Unapatism. And Unapatism tells Gilgamesh of a story of a great flood, which was caused by a god or deity named Marduk, and Unapatism was saved by a god named Ea, which was the counterpart of Enki. Unapatism's story sounds very much like Noah. This is a painting of Noah. Unapatism listened to Ea. Ea told him that there was going to be a great flood and told him to build a ship. He built the ship in 7 days. And for listening to the god, Unapatism was rewarded with immortality, and so was his wife. Unapatism reveals to Gilgamesh the secret of immortality, and it is a plant that grows at the bottom of the sea. Speaking of the sea, Ea was the god of wisdom, mischievous god of wisdom, magic, incantation, who resides in the ocean under the earth. Using this information, Gilgamesh and Enkidu set out to find this plant, and they do find the plant. But Gilgamesh unfortunately loses this plant while he's sleeping to a serpent. Serpent came in like a thief in the night and stole the plant of immortality. The story of Gilgamesh is one of the earliest works of literature. The myth of the elixir of life, a substance or a potion that grants immortality or eternal youth, has existed throughout history in many ancient cultures. One of the earliest accounts date back to ancient Sumerian mythology, all the way back in time to 4000 BCE. The gods themselves were said to possess the secrets of immortality, which they guarded with great jealousy. This concept was also present in ancient Chinese mythology, where it was known as the elixir of immortality. Taoist alchemists sought to create this elixir by the transmutation of base metals into gold and the refinement of various herbs and minerals. In medieval Europe, the concept of the elixir of life became associated with alchemy and the quest for the philosopher's stone. In recent times, we can see the evolution of these thoughts and how they're affecting us today in the study for longevity, which includes a variety of scientific and medical pursuits aimed at extending human life and delaying the effects of aging. The idea of an elixir that grants immortality and youth, and all you have to do is drink it, seems like something I feel like anybody would do. The Fountain of Youth. Juan Ponce de Leon was a Spanish explorer and conquistador that was best known for his expedition to Florida in search for the Fountain of Youth. According to the legend, the Fountain of Youth was a magical spring or fountain that would grant eternal youth or immortality to anybody who would drink from it or bathe in it. In 1513, Juan Ponce de Leon left from Puerto Rico going north with his three ships in search for this fountain. During this time, this land was uncharted, but Juan Ponce de Leon was greeted by some indigenous folk, if you know what I mean. Juan Ponce de Leon landed on the east coast of Florida, the near present day St. Augustine. He was greeted by the indigenous people of the Calusa, and they told Juan Ponce de Leon that there was no fountain of youth. Juan, there's no fountain, bro. Beat it. So Juan dipped off and went back to Puerto Rico. He came back in 1521 in another attempt to colonize in Florida, and the natives, the indigenous folk, were not having it. They got into a battle with him. And unfortunately, Juan Ponce de Leon was hit with an arrow, and homie didn't make it. What do you think? Do you think that the indigenous tribe that may have been protectors of this fountain of youth or spring would have told an outsider just easily that location of this? What do you think? Shout out to the indigenous folk. The tree of life. It's alive. What will you do?